So today we are discussing about load balancers and auto scaling groups. Okay, so why do we use a load balancer? To balance the load across the instances. Auto scaling is to spin up or remove the instances based on the load. Right, so we created a load balancer yesterday, and we also created auto scaling group, and we have defined the policies and all. Right, so today we'll try to recreate the whole setup. I'll just log in as root with unrestricted access. Okay, EC2 is a service, and then we'll go to load balancers. Okay, create a load balancer, and then we'll choose the classic load balancer, and load balancer, let us say 1, and the default VPC. Okay, and this is internet facing load balancer, so I want to access this this internet facing, so I want to access the instances, I want to redirect the traffic. Okay, and then we are allowing HTTP on port 80 for the load balancer, and this will be mapped to 80 port running on the instance. Right, next assign the security groups. Okay, so let us say we'll create a security group, or we'll use the same security group which we used earlier. Okay, security settings, health check is on port HTTP, ping is on port 80, and path index.html, or we can give slash as well, so that this will monitor and check if application is running on that port. Okay, and this response timeout is time to wait, so basically it will send a response and wait for 5 seconds, and after getting the acknowledgement it will wait for 30 seconds before sending another request. So let us reduce this to 10 seconds. Okay, so before declaring instance down, it checks 2 times. So this is the interval number of consecutive checks which it does before declaring instance unhealthy. Right, so load balancer will balance the load across the instances, and it also does the health check. If any instance is not responding to the health check, means application is not working, it will not route the traffic to that particular instance. It will route the traffic to healthy instance. Okay, healthy threshold is the number of consecutive checks load balancer does before it declares that as healthy. So let us take this as 5. Okay, so these are basically 2 iterations, 5 iterations before declaring one instance as up or down, healthy or unhealthy. Okay.
This ping path is like is a root. It's ping
So
path.
this is something like application will have some configuration files. So those configuration files we provide here, so that it can be directly opened over a browser. So here we do not have anything, or we can give that var www HTML index, so that it monitors that path. Right. Okay. So I think we need to create the EC2 instances. Okay, first let us okay, first we'll create the load balancer, then we'll create the instances, and then we'll add. Okay, so I'll just create a load balancer, then let us go to EC2 instances, and then create 2 instances. 2 instances with Amazon Red Hat, and I'll also give to install HTTP bin bash yum install -y HTTP d and service HTTPD start. Okay, and also we'll create something like hello to where www HTML.
Suppose it is a Red Hat 7 instance.
This Amazon AMI.
Oh,
So kind of derivative of Red Hat. So all yum service command works. Okay.
I think systemctl start HTTPD, right? If it is a Red Hat 7 version.
Systemctl service also works, I guess.
I think maybe it's Red Hat 7 is deprecated, maybe. Okay, I don't know.
Okay. Let us see.
Yeah.
Okay, 8 GB security group. Security group will also allow HTTP on the port 80 from anywhere. Launch. Okay, we'll use the same key pair. Okay, so this is spinning up 2 instances. Okay, so we created a load balancer. And create 2 EC2 instances, and we'll add those instances to the load balancer. So this is still initializing, so we can log in. Once this is okay to the instance, this will have one public IP. So we'll just note down this. This is the other instance. 32 and 83. Okay, so consider this as server 1 and consider this as server 2. So I'll try to log in using the key pair. So the same user, EC2 user, and the IP address. Okay, this is up. So I'll log in as root. So let us see if this is up. Service HTTPD status. with HTTP. Okay, it's still not installed. Let me see. Okay, seems like it's not installed. Let us see if this changes to OK. I'll also log into the server 2. Okay, status is OK. Still it did not install. Something is wrong with our command. Yum install -y http we've given, right? Okay, there are no packages. httpd. Okay, it is installed. So httpd is installed. Then let us say starting the service. Service httpd start. Okay, it started. On the other node also will try to install http. Yum install -y httpd. I think that's why it failed. We have given star, right? So command should be this, httpd only. Yum install httpd, install the command. This we actually given while booting up. It should install httpd and start the service automatically, but it did not do because we have given star and the same command fails here because of some dependency issue. So if we give this, it would have worked. Now service httpd start. So what is the status? Status httpd is running. Now what we'll do is we'll go to var www.html index.html. So this is my, let us say, server 1, and I'll save this, and other is server 2. So just to understand where the requests are routed, server 2. Okay, so this server 1, this server 2. Now let us try to access this using the public IP, not load balancer, but just the instance. At least we are able to ping the instance. Okay, server 2. This is giving server 2, and this one. Server 1. Okay, so this server 1, this server 2. So let us try to add them to the load balancer and see if it routes the traffic properly. Load balancers. So there is already a load balancer, and let us see what all is there. Instances, there are no instances. We did not add anything, so it is not showing any instances. Health check we have added. Okay, and then where are the security groups for this load balancer? Okay, this is a security group. Let us see if HTTP is enabled for this load balancer. Inbound rules, this HTTP is enabled on port 80. SSH is also enabled. And what will be the outbound rules? All, right? So inbound, we restrict the incoming traffic to a load balancer, or the incoming traffic to EC2 instances. We restrict based on something like we allow only HTTP, we allow only SSH, we allow only ping, something like that. But outbound, we always allow. right? All traffic we allow for outbound in case of EC2 instance as well. So this load balancer is security group is fine. So let me go to the load balancer and add these two instances. Here, edit instances. So we can add here and save. So these are from this zone, availability zone. But ideally, it is recommended to use instances from different availability zones so that the traffic will be redirected properly. Okay, so I'll just save this and then let me get the DNS of load balancer and see if it is responding. So these instances are out of service currently. So this status has to change to in service so that the traffic will be redirected between the instances. Okay.
Santosh, I have a question.
Yeah.
If these instances from different availability zones, in real life, normally the web page should be same, right? If they access in different instances, it should be same, right?
Yeah, it should be same.
But if it is a different zones, how the web page is same web page is
because same application will be running on both the instances, right? So the web page will be same on. So the same application is running on both the machines. Right?
Okay, but not shared. It's not from coming from shared storage, right?
So there can be a shared database which both instances share, but primarily the data will be written to the database in a shared listing, but the application will be same.
Okay.
So this should come to in service. We have a listener. HTTP is listening on the port 80. I think something is wrong with the path. Something is wrong with the health check.
Yeah, maybe just try with the default path.
The problem is, for HTTP, the default directory is var www html. So the path we have given is var www html. So I think it will try to access var www html / var www html index.html, which will fail. So by default, the root directory of the web server is var www.html, and here there is index.html, right? So while performing the health check, it has to look for this file. So we have to give port 80, HTTP as the protocol, and the path is index.html, right? So if we give this, it internally takes this as var www.html index.html. Earlier when we had given var www.html index.html, I think it has taken something like this. Again var www.html, because the root directory of the base directory of HTTP protocol is var www.html. Okay. Now it has
so because it's accessing HTTP, so it's going to look at the directory. Okay, it's
right.
It's possible.
Now let us see if this really up. It's showing in service, but let me see if it's hitting the instance. Okay, server 1. Can we hit from here? Just a minute. Server 2, server 1. If you see, if I refresh, the incoming traffic is getting redirected to different instances. If I hit now, it is server 1. If you see, this is server 1. And if I hit again, it is server 2, right? Server 1 again, server 2 again. So this is the load balancer, which is redirecting the traffic to server 1 and server 2 based on the incoming web traffic, right?
Yeah, I think that is clear. Yeah. How about if we just want to see if the server is alive? Just simple ping request to the server. So we can give a different path. Let's say this is like I know this is accessing the web server, the web server. How about load balancing if which server is up or which server is down?
I didn't get you. You mean?
Oh, okay. You know that part is done by monitoring. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. So it's in the sense you mean if we bring down one server, what happens? All the traffic will go to the second server.
No. I'm asking like for the monitoring part. You know, we have done like intervals, 5 seconds, and all those monitoring is done on the index.html. If that index.html file is there, or what?
This is, yes. So basically internally what it does is it does this something like this: curl HTTP and the IP address of the instance : index.html with 80 port. Something like this it will do. So on port 80, it will try to access index.html. If it gets properly, it will declare it as healthy. If it doesn't respond, then it will declare as down. Maybe I can.
So what is curl? Curl stands for what? I don't know.
Curl is something like to check whether the web page or the remote machine is up or not. We are getting the proper response or not, right?
Okay.
So this is, let us say, localhost : 80 server 2 we are getting, right? Or maybe I'll give index.html server 2, right? So this, if I give on the second, so actually load balancer from there, it tried to perform a health check using this. So we can also do that manually on the different servers, right? So here
so basically it's checking if the file is there. And for example, if the server is down, it won't access the file, right?
Right. So that time it will declare the server as down.
Okay. It's basically, it's just like pinging the server. So instead of ping the server name.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like a kind of, are we getting proper response or not? Now in the first instance, we have given this. What is that? Var www.html index.html we have given. So this will fail because it says, see, server location not found, this file is not found. So when we have changed it to index.html, it worked. The instance has turned to in service. because this curl has given proper response, right? So load balancer internally does this. It basically does health checks. So curl is something like to check whether a application is running on this particular instance or not. So application is we are getting a proper response from application or not. That's what it checks, right? And if it is successful, it will declare the instance as healthy. If it is not successful, it will declare the instance as unhealthy, and it will not route the traffic to that particular instance. How do I check written code of this? How do I check whether this command is successful or not?
To which, or there was something
I
colon,
mean,
or I know what you mentioned something colon.
This is 0.
Oh yes.
0 indicates that it is successful. So if I give something else, what happens? Oh, this is also 0. It uses something called curl -i or something. It says HTTP. Oh, okay, it should return actually this 404 not found, and for this thing it should return something like 202 OK. Yeah, 200 OK. 200 OK for the HTTP response indicates that the server is working fine. 404 says that this is unhealthy, but I don't know, somehow it should return the proper return code. It's not returning, but this is how it checks. So for HTTP,
I think it's just HTTP. It's just accessing the file, so it's maybe not the whole command. Maybe right. That's why it's giving the same.
So maybe a HTTP request using REST it tries that we can simulate using curl command. So load balancer tries to give a HTTP call to the instance, and based on the written code, if it is 200 OK, it means that the instance is healthy. If it is anything other than that, 404 indicates that instance is unhealthy, and it will stop requesting the service. So let us say by any mistake, if the service is stopped, right? Let us say service, what is this server? Let me see. Index.html is server 2. Now I'll say service HTTP D stop. It is stopped now. Now if I say curl, it's failed to connect, right? Now let us see where the traffic is getting redirected. Server 1, server 1, server 1, server 1. So because, let us see what is happening. Now load balancer should detect that this machine is not healthy, right? Whether it is showing the other instance as out of service. See, one instance is declared as out of service. How does it declare? It does how many health checks?
I think it does 10 of them to become healthy. Unhealthy.
No, that is to declaring as healthy. Unhealthy threshold is this thing we have given as 2. Indicates that it does successive 2. In 2 iterations it does 2 checks with a duration of 10 seconds in between, right? And if the instance doesn't respond to these 2 health checks, it will declare it as unhealthy, right? Now let us say instance is up and running now. It's healthy now. For healthy threshold, how many checks it does? It does 10 health checks with 10 seconds in between, and then it declares as healthy, right? So this is how a load balancer works. So basically it balances the load. So now server 2 is down, so it is always routing the traffic to server 1.
Okay. Yes, good. Yeah, we are not doing scaling thing today, right? Like we.
Yeah. Now we'll do. Now we have load balancer. Load balancer is up and running. Okay, we'll make this as a healthy. Second instance also will make as healthy. Where do you stop? Okay, this server 1. Let us make this as healthy. Healthy means I'll just start it. Okay, I just simulated by creating something like in a real-time scenario, something like if the machine goes down, what happens? If application goes down, what happens? I just stopped it manually. Then it has detected that instance is unhealthy and it started routing the traffic to server 1. Now instance is healthy and it is returning 200 OK, indicating that this instance is healthy. So now load balancer will do 10 successive checks to this instance before declaring it as healthy. Right? So now this is out of service. So let us wait for some time before this changes to in service. Okay, this is changed to in service, indicating that this instance is healthy. Now if I redirect the traffic, now if I go to instant load balancer and see what is happening, server 1, server 2. Again the traffic is routed to server 2. Is this clear? Load balancer part?
Yes, it's clear. Yeah.
Okay. Now we'll go to scaling.
Can we rename the load balancer DNS name to like different name, like more like?
Yes, we can
maybe,
do
yeah.
that
Okay.
using Route 53 service, which is like we can kind of create an alias whatever we want, something like
Okay.
we can give.
We gonna cover Route 53 also?
Yeah, we will cover.
Okay.
Okay. So I mean, first we should have the domain purchased, right? So whatever you want to use. Okay, that domain we should have, and we should buy it. So then only we can rename this as that domain, whatever you want, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So we'll see auto scaling now. Load balancer is working fine. Healthy it is detecting, unhealthy it is detecting. It is also changing the status accordingly based on the health check. If it is 404, it is unhealthy. If return code is 404, it is declaring it as unhealthy. If return code is 200, it is declaring it as healthy, and based on that, it is redirecting the traffic. Now, what is the situation? Something like if the CPU utilization goes down or goes up, based on that, we have to spin up the instances, right? So yesterday we have created two policies: scale out, scaling, right? So let us create today as well. So we have, I think, launch configuration already there, and let us go to auto scaling groups, create auto scaling group. Okay, then select this. Okay, start with one instance, subnet. So we'll also give retrieve traffic from the load balancer here, and I select this as load balancer 1, right?
So we're creating one instance, and what is the subnet part? Is it like each instance in this auto scaling group will be assigned a public IP? The subnet part?
This one?
Yeah, subnet. Yeah. Each subnet has an auto scaling group will be assigned a public IP address. Okay. Where did we add this? Okay, one
The
instance.
launch configuration for this auto scaling group does not specify a preference for a public IP addressing. A public IP address will be assigned only to instances launched in your default. Okay, this is when it creates a new instance, right? So for that instance will be spinned up in this subnet. Okay, so basically it's like a new instance will be spinned up in case load is up. So that instance has to have network, right? So that network we are defining here.
In the same subnet, eh?
Yeah, same subnet whichever used.
Okay. We still have to cover VPC, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll cover that time. So we have seen load balancer. Now we are creating the auto scaling group. So here we define our own policy. Okay. So here increase the group size, decrease the group size, scale out, scale in. We'll create an alarm. If the CPU utilization is, let us say, more than 0.0, let us say 8. Yesterday we have given 0.05, it was spinning up the instances because 0.05 is too less, and the moment it starts creating the instance itself, it was spinning up because HTTPD was running on it, right? So now we'll select 0.08 and let us see if it spins up. I just created an alarm which basically detects if CPU utilization of the servers on average goes above 0.08%. Okay, the same way, so add one instance at a time. In the same way, we'll also add for scale-in policy. So if the average CPU utilization is less than or equal to 0.08, remove the instance. Remove one instance at a time. Okay. Notifications, tags, review, create auto scaling group. Okay, we'll go to auto scaling group. Okay, we haven't given, we'll edit and give the instances. Maximum instances will give something like 4. We have 2 instances now, so I have given 4 and just save it. Okay, so let us see. So it already started spinning up a new instance, right? So 0.08% is so less, right? So even before we log into the machine, it knows that the average CPU utilization is going beyond 0.08 and it started spinning up another instance.
One of the things, Santosh, I was thinking, this is taking the average CPU utilization. Let's say if you have 2 servers, one is running on 90%, the other one is running on, let's say, 60%. The average would be around 70, right?
Right.
But I don't want to put 90%, and it's going to be, even the one server goes to, let's say, 95%, the other is still 70. The average is still less than 90, right? So we are putting too much load on one server. Is there a way to restrict not to put more than 80%?
That is when you do not have load balancer. But here in this case, we have load balancer, and that won't happen because it will redirect the traffic automatically between the instances, right? So you have a load balancer, it is redirecting the incoming traffic to server 1.
Okay.
So it's not like 90% on one server and 10% on the other server. So it will be mostly something like 50-50 or 60-40, something that will be there.
Okay, so we have to work together, load balancer and auto scaling, right?
Yeah, load balancer and auto scaling. Yesterday we started auto scaling first, then we created load balancer. Today we started load balancer first, then we have configured auto scaling, right? So load balancer is detecting healthy and unhealthy. It is making the status change to in service and out of service based on the service status, based on the health checks. Now we have also added auto scaling group to load balancer. So load will be redirected to instances properly based on the round robin algorithm, and also if the CPU utilization goes beyond 0.08%, auto scaling group will start the instances automatically one at a time.
Okay, so let's say if we have a site, public website, so in the configuration, the configuration, there was something configuration default. we have to make sure that when spinning up the new instance, it's going to copy over that file to the new instance, right?
Right. So that we have to specify either in the AMI, or we can specify in the advanced details. Right there, we can also specify what all the things it has to install. Right.
Oh yes.
Now
Okay.
we have 3 instances running. Load balancer is pointing to 3 instances. All are in service. So let us see how the traffic is getting redirected. Now let me also log into the 3rd instance and change it to server 3. Okay, this is still initializing. So this is my server 3. Permission in it. Which instance I'm spinning up? I think it is Ubuntu. I need to use Ubuntu user. Okay. So in the launch configuration, I have specified to use Ubuntu instance. So it started spinning up Ubuntu. So let us see if HTTPD is running. Okay, it's not started. Let me start it. Service. Okay, there is no package installed. apt-get update. apt-get install Apache 2. Okay, it's already installed. Service Apache 2 status. Okay, this is not HTTP, it's Apache 2. So it's already running. So let me see what is there in index.html. Where www.html index.html. Okay, hi. I'll change it to server 3. So let us see what is happening on the load balancer. Server 3, server 1, server 2, server 3 again, server 1, server 2, server 3. So the load is balanced across 3 machines. So this output is from server 3. So we can also check the curl output on this machine as well. curl-i localhost and 80/index.html. This should also give return status 200, indicating that this instance is healthy, right? What happens if I stop the instance? Service Apache 2 stop. Okay, now if I say curl-i, it will give error code 404, indicating that service is down on this machine, right? So now let me see if the traffic, first let me see if load balancer is changing the instance to out of service, right? So the health check will fail, and then it should change the instance type to the instance health status to out of service. Okay, it is changed. So it does basically 2 health checks, 10 seconds in between. It waits for 5 seconds before it gets the response from the EC2 instance, and if it doesn't get the response, it will change the status to out of service. Now let us see what is happening on the load balancer and how the traffic is getting redirected. Now server 3 is down, so the traffic will be in between server 1 and server 2, right? So now if I go ahead here and again make the service up, so this does 10 consecutive health checks, and when it detects that the 10 health checks are passed, it will change the status to in service. Okay, so this is the instances tab, and this is, sorry, where is it? Okay, it is spinning up another instance, maybe because the load is high. It started spinning up the other instance. Let us see what is happening in the load balancer. Okay, so all 4 instances are in service now. Now there is a new instance added, maybe because the load on the instances is high. Now the traffic should get redirected to all 4 instances. Server 2, server 1, server 2, server 4. This is the one by default we have high, because in the advanced configuration I just asked to install HTTP, start the service and write hi to index.html. So there are 4 instances now, and the load is equally getting redistributed to all 4 EC2 instances. So auto scaling has pinned up another instance. So there are 4 instances now, 2 instances which we started with, and other 2 instances auto scaling group has automatically spinned up based on the utilization. Is this clear?
Yes, Santosh. Yeah, that's clear.
Okay. So if something is going wrong, the load balancer is not responding properly, where do we start debugging?
I'll go to the load balancer and look at if all the services are up and running or no.
Right. So if load balancer is not responding, we need to go to the instances tab and see all are in service, or if they are not in service, we need to go to the health check and see what is happening. Let me see if there is something to check in load balancer. In auto scaling we can check actually in auto scaling groups. So it will clearly show why it is spinning up a new instance. Activity history. If you go to activity history, see it will show why it is spinning up, why it is removing, what is it doing and all. Right. See, launching a new instance. User request was created in auto scaling group. Instance was started in response to difference between the desired and the actual capacity, increasing the capacity from 0 to 1. Okay.
Yeah, can you go to this auto scaling? Remember you showed us the how to when the new instance launch, what is the pre-configuration?
That is in launch configuration, right?
Launch configuration, yes.
So in launch configuration,
because we attach launch configuration with auto scaling, right?
yes. First we create launch configuration, then we create auto scaling. Okay, you mean this thing, right? While creating launch configuration, we give all the details and we specify advanced details. That's what you mean here,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, here we define user data. That is what we give here to when the machine is coming up, what are the things it needs to perform, right? So here we can write a shell script, a complete shell script we can write, and it will execute this particular shell script, and it will try to do whatever the things we perform. Yum install HTTP.
Okay. We can also mention that please you can also mention like copy that file from that drive to this WWN, right? So every time it's going to copy over that file when you're launching the instance. That file is basically your website. Something like that,
right? But so this, when it is coming up, maybe where is that file? Is it in S3 or is it in somewhere
S3,
else? That we have to properly mention here so that it takes from there. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
Or it can also take, for example, if a site, let's say if one site is already configured on instance 1, right? And that file is sitting in under www or HTML, and we can copy that file, right, from that instance to any new instance as a pre-configuration. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
we can configure. The only thing is the connection issue. We have to make sure that somehow this key, whatever we are using, or the new instance key is properly configured, because simply we cannot copy, right? So it has to have some kind of password or passwordless authentication key somewhere. So that if we take care of that, we can copy from anywhere.
Okay, because I'm trying to understand. Right now, we have just used the index.html, which is already present, right? Or it's auto scaling server 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, right?
Right.
And every time we basically manually configure those index.html files, right?
Yeah. So yeah, one solution for this problem is to have a AMI, Amazon machine image, which is
Okay.
like where application is already configured. So we have a EC2
Yes.
instance. You did 100 steps on it, and application is installed, configured, everything is fine. Now I
Yeah.
use that AMI in the launch configuration, so that
Okay.
when the machine spins up, everything is there automatically. I don't have to do anything. It's just spins up, and it takes the traffic. So that we can use customized
You said
AMI.
AMI. Okay.
Right. So
Yes,
it's same like our
is
Docker,
it like
right?
just one of the services like AMI?
No, this is in EC2. We have something called AMI, that is like a template which we select every time when we want to spin up an instance, right? Launch instance here. This is Amazon machine image. This is a pre-installed image, right? So this has nothing. This has the base OS. Now I create a instance from this AMI, and I make it ready, up and running, or we can see that maybe in the next class, right? So how do we customize AMI? So AMI is something like a pre-installed image, something like our Vagrant image or our Docker base image, right? Then we create instance from it, right? Then instance is up and running. Then we log into instance, customize. Customize in the
Oh,
sense,
so okay. So you're saying that create your own customized AMI and use
exactly.
that AMI to as a pre-install kind of a thing for every time, right?
Right. Yeah, customize, configure, and then create AMI out of this running instance.
Okay.
Right. So now I have AMI that has everything. My application is there, configuration is there. I just have to spin up, application will be ready. Now in the launch configuration, I'll use this AMI. Use this customized AMI to spin up the instance. So when a new instance spins up using auto scaling policy, it will use this AMI, and this AMI has everything that needs for application to run. So we don't have to do anything. So whenever it spins up the applications, it will have the application, whenever it spins up instances, it will have the applications ready, and it
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now I got you. Okay. So the site is basically hosting on every new instance. So
right.
whenever if one instance is down, it's going to be go to the next instance, and which is
Right.
exactly the same site, right?
So yeah, exactly. So here I have given server 1, server 2, server 3 just to demonstrate is the traffic really redirecting between the servers or not. But ideally, it will be same file on all the machines, right? So it will be always server 1, let's say. Index.html will be same on all the machines. So user won't user won't even know from which server is getting the response, right? So that's how it
Yes.
works.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. I think that's what I was looking for. Yeah. Okay. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Right. So this I have shown you only to understand, is the traffic really getting redirected if we use load balancer? Yes, it is, because we are getting the different responses. But ideally, it will be same file on all the machines, and the user won't know from which server is getting the response. Right. So I can have 100 machines running my application, and users across the geographical locations will access the website, and they get the response, and they don't even know from where they are getting the response. So there are a lot of servers, right?
Perfect. Yeah. That was what I was looking for. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll stop here. We have VPC, virtual private cloud. right?
Do we have a class tomorrow?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
So is anybody free? I mean, is anybody traveling or something?
No, I'm free. Yeah, nothing to do on the weekend.
Okay. So anyone else has any issues with the class? Venkat, Vinay, Sudiksha, Lakshminarayana, Janardhan.
I'm fine. I
Okay.
can.
So
Fine.
VPC. Okay. Yeah, fine. So we'll have class tomorrow as well. We have VPC, we have RDS, the database, and we have DNS in the next classes. And then we have Chef, Puppet, and Python. So we'll try to
Kubernetes
cover
also.
VPC tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll stop here. Thank you. Bye-bye.